Hello, so today I'll be doing some chess puzzles on leechess.org. I'm going to go and click on this puzzles tab here, and a puzzle comes up, but actually I'm going to click on this puzzles themes link on the left. And this is a pretty cool feature that leechess has, where it allows you to kind of choose the puzzles or the type of puzzle that you want to try. So I'm going to scroll down and go and do some fork puzzles. So a fork is a very common type of tactic in chess. And the idea of a fork is that you move a piece to attack two of your enemy pieces at one time. So the difficulty level is default to set to normal, but you can change it to easiest or hardest or whatever you would like. Just going to leave it on normal. We've got a description here of a fork, a move where the moved piece attacks two opponent pieces at once. Okay, so let's have a go at these puzzles. So in this one here, white has just moved his knight here. White is attacking my bishop. Material is we each have two bishops, we each have two rooks and a knight. Pawns, black has 5 pawns and white has 7 pawns, so white is 2 pawns ahead. One thing to note is that black has a check here. A check forces the king to move over, after which we can take the bishop. However, if we go knight here, king moves over and take the bishop, then the knight can capture our bishop. One thing we might want to do is to take the knight. However, if we take the knight, then bishop recaptures, and our knight jump here no longer comes with a fork. So this knight jump here, this is a fork, and this is kind of the main motif of this puzzle. This is the fork that the puzzle is trying to teach us about, but we need to be a bit careful about how we implement it. We could go knight check, king moves over, and then take the pawn, after which the king would be forced to take our bishop. Then we can take this bishop here with check. In that case, we would gain a single pawn. King has quite a few moves, possible moves in that line. So I'm not entirely convinced that that is the answer. Tricky. If we move our bishop somewhere, then white could play something like rook over. We could play knight takes here. Knight takes here is not that strong because of rook over. This is the most forcing move, and then this is the most forcing follow-up. Yes, this will be it. After knight takes here, if the king moves somewhere inconsequential, such as back here, then this knight is hanging. But even if the king moves somewhere consequential, and by that I mean attacking our knight, which is here in this line, then we can still play bishop takes here, because it'll be defending the knight here. So I believe that that is the solution. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and do that. So the first move is the fork in this puzzle. So again, knight here, forking these two pieces. The rest of the variation is kind of dealing with the fact that our bishop here is hanging, and we need to address that before we can kind of take advantage of this fork here. So again, we want to do this, but then our own bishop gets taken, so we have to insert this check here. And now the key idea is we take the bishop with check, and after we do that, then we can take this other piece. Okay, so I hope that puzzle wasn't too complicated. Move on to the next one. Okay, so here is a knight fork. Taking the queen and taking the bishop. It's not the strongest fork I've ever seen, because after knight here, one way to get out of a fork is to move the stronger piece that's attacked, so that's the queen, and defend the weaker piece that's attacked, so that's the bishop. And in this case, after knight here, we're attacking the queen, but the queen can move to this square here, e7, and if the queen moves there, then it's defending the bishop over here, which means that knight here, queen here, if we take the other piece, which is usually the idea of a fork, then queen can just recapture, and we haven't really gained anything. Now in this line, we have a queen here, and our bishop is actually lining up against that. So we could follow that up with a move that attacks a pinned piece. So this is another motif that will that I might cover in another video. That's called a pin. So if you imagine that there's a queen here, a knight here, and a bishop here, we would say that the knight is pinned to the queen by the bishop. And what that means is that if we play a move like c3, we'd be attacking the pinned piece, and if the knight moves anywhere, then we can take the queen. So this might actually just be the solution to this puzzle. Something else I want to look at is if we play a knight move and the queen moves here, we might have a move bishop takes knight, with the idea of after pawn takes, knight is lining up against the queen. However, I don't think that's particularly strong, because whenever the knight moves from here to kind of unleash the attack against the queen can respond by moving. So if, for example, we play knight here, bishop takes, so knight here, queen here, bishop takes, and let's say pawn takes, although that's not even forced. And if we take here, then queen can just recapture and gets out of the way of this. So I believe what I said at the start will be the answer, following up with an attack against the pinned piece. Great. Okay, the first move that comes to mind is rook here. This would be a check, but it also attacks the queen. So this is a fork because we move a piece and we attack two opponent pieces at once. And generally speaking, this would be a good move because after the king moves somewhere, let's say here or here, then we would take the queen for free. In this position, there are some complicating factors, however. One complicating factor is that our queen is also under attack. The second complicating factor is if we move this rook too far, then there is a rook check or even a queen check available, depending on what happens. And that would be a checkmate, or especially if it was a rook check. So we have some back rank issues here. So let's look at the most forcing line, which is rook here. So if queen takes, then queen takes, king moves, and then we take the rook. That line is fine. If rook here, king moves somewhere, then we can't just take the queen as we would like to do because of rook here, and that would be checkmate. So if rook here, king here. We can play queen check. So king here. And still rook here. Doesn't really work. Rook check doesn't work because of queen takes. We do have a check here. But king can move. I'm not entirely sure what that does. I do feel like this is the move, but I'm not sure how to meet king moves. Bishop check, king over, queen up, king takes. That can't be right. Fortunately, there's no queen check, I don't think. Maybe there's some rook check and then queen distraction somewhere. But then in that case, rook takes queen. And then if I take their queen, then just recaptures and we lost a rook. Maybe there's some mate somewhere. The king down. Queen up. Okay, actually queen here. And then the king is tied down to the rook. So let's say king here. Queen here. King here. Rook here. King here. Queen here. King here. Okay, what if I start off with queen check? This is a tricky one. Rook check, queen king down. If it takes, then checkmate. Rook check, king down. Check, king down. Takes, 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 and checkmate. I need some way to address this back rank issue. The only way I can see how I would do that is by somehow keeping my rook on the back rank or bringing my queen back to defend this square at some point. But I can't do that if I play rook check. This rook check is so appealing. It's the queen and the rook are forcing the king to move down this way. But by the same token, this rook and queen are kind of guarding the same horizontals. So rook check, king down, What's the move that I'm missing? Queen up. Rook down. I can't get my bishop into play because that's blocked. I can't get my bishop here either because that's blocked. I can play check, but then the king can hide. Oh, actually, if the king hides there, then I have checkmate. So that's not an issue. Okay, no, this line is suddenly starting to make sense now. Rook here, king here, queen here, king here, queen check. King has to go either here. Well, if king there, then queen there is checkmate. So if the king can't go here and the king can't go there, then it forces the king to go here. Ah, but then I have checkmate. So that means after rook here, king here, queen here, this move doesn't work, which means this move is forced. Oh, sorry, this move. Now we bring the bishop in. Because now at least if we bring the bishop in and rook takes, then we can take the queen finally. Because there's no more back rank checkmate. And after the bishop check, the king would be forced to move back here, and then we have the same line of queen check and checkmate to follow. Okay, that looks good. So rook here, if king here to start with, then we can play queen here, and then the line transposes. And yeah, that's basically all of the variations. Okay, great. So we finally figured out all the different sidelines, but the main idea of this is the rook fork, attacking the king and the queen. We have to figure out the side variations to figure out a way to stop this plan of rook check and checkmating us on the back rank. But once we've figured out how to counter that, then we can go ahead and play our rook fork. And note that the way we've countered this is basically by checking the white king until it's checkmate, or until the white rook has to be dragged away to stop checkmate, in which case we can actually just take the queen with the rook that from the fork that we've just given. So the line was this. Ah, okay. So this is one of the variations I didn't talk about. I had assumed that we just take the rook and everything is fine. However, in this line, let's say the king moves somewhere, and again, if we take, there is still this checkmate. So I'm pretty sure the first move will still be to take the rook, but we can't just... Okay, so the puzzle ends there. I assume that if king here is forced, now that I think about it. But then we just have queen here, and then the rook cuts off here. If bishop blocks, then we could play queen here, king moves somewhere, and then take the queen. The queen guarding the back rank. And if king here, queen here, and... Well, actually, if bishop blocks in the pass line, then we can just do queen here, and that's checkmate. So that's easy. If king here, queen here, and king takes pawn, then bishop here, and then it transposes into similar lines. Actually, bishop here forces queen here. King here, sorry. How do we finish that off? King here. Queen here. King takes. Bishop here. King here. Queen here. Seems wrong. King here. Do we play rook here first? Bishop takes. Here, here, here. Can we play this? Rook takes. No, I don't think we can. Okay. Queen here. Sorry. King here, queen here, queen here. Okay, king here, queen here. No. Okay, I figured it out. King here, queen here, king moves somewhere, and then we are guarding this square, so we can take the queen. And if king here, queen here, pawn push, then queen here, and again we're guarding this square. Okay, finally figured it out. This one took a lot longer than I was expecting. Let's go to the let's go here and let's click on the easiest, and hopefully they'll give us a puzzle that's a bit easier this time. Okay, if I play bishop takes here, then we lose our queen. So let's not do that. We can play bishop here, and that would be a check, and that would be a fork on the king and the knight. After we do that, we can take the queen. The king will recapture, assuming the king has gone to h7, and then we can take the bishop, take the knight after that. So the line is bishop here, king moves here, let's say. Could also move here, but it doesn't matter where it moves. Queen takes queen, king takes queen, bishop takes knight. If bishop here, king here, queen takes queen, knight takes queen, then we can take the rook. So this will be the solution. Okay, great. This one was a lot easier than the past one. Let's do a couple more of these. This is a lovely position. This is exactly the type of position that I would love to have in a chess game. Look at these pieces soaring in. Beautiful. Okay, rook takes here is the most forcing move. King takes. And then there's no clear follow-up actually. So that's probably not the solution. Bishop here attacks the rook. Would be met by rook here. Bishop is guarding the rook, so we couldn't take. There might be some idea of bishop takes here. If queen takes, then we take. If bishop takes, king takes is illegal because of the rook. So the only other move is rook takes, but then we might have queen in here. In which case, the king would have to move to here or here, and then we can take the rook with our queen, or with our rook even. Taking with the rook looks scary in that line. Alternatively, we might be able to play queen here first. Let's say bishop here to open up the defense of the rooks. The rooks guarding each other. And then we can play bishop takes. Rook takes would then be illegal. King moves here, let's say. If bishop check, queen takes, king back. Oop. King back, and then queen checkmate. Queen here. Oh, I guess I should calculate this. Rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes, and then we just lose too much material, so that's not the solution. So I believe the first move is bishop takes here. Could also consider rook takes with the same idea. So rook takes, queen here, king up, bishop takes, but it doesn't seem as strong. So yeah, I do believe that it's bishop takes, and it's a fork on the king and the queen. Okay, so black just decides to go down this line to give up his queen. Alright, great. And we'll do one more puzzle on forks. Knights are the best pieces to give forks, really. They provide a lot of interesting tactics. So here we have quite an obvious fork of the king and the rook. In fact, it's so obvious that I'm wondering why I'm getting this puzzle. Is there a trick? I give the fork, king moves here, let's say. So let's say knight fork, king here, knight takes, king takes. I think after knight here, king here, we could play rook here as kind of an intermediate move, and we protect this pawn. And the reason why I want to protect this pawn is these pawns here are very, very quick to calm down. If this pawn is gone, then this pawn here gets to have a very quick runway to the finish line, which would be really bad for black, actually. It's much better for black to keep this pawn here, so this pawn can't move anywhere, which is important as well, because this pawn is supported by this pawn. So if this pawn can't move anywhere, then this pawn kind of loses his supporter. So yeah, I do believe that the move is knight here, king here, and then rook here. Okay, so we're not even going down that line. And I think we can just take the rook safely. Yep, so that was just a simple fork. Probably overanalyzed that one a little bit much. But I think it's nice to end on a simple note, a simple fork. So yeah, there were some forks, some interesting puzzles there. I hope you got something out of that. And I look forward to the next tactical motif that I can cover. Thanks for watching. If you like this type of video, please do let me know. And yeah, I'll see what I can do in future videos. But yeah, please do like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.